Hello everyone, welcome back to a bonus episode of Spooky and Kooky.
Yeah, as always, if you like anything horror, paranormal or conspiracy, join us. We talk about it all here. And on our 2 episodes that we're doing about missing people.
Yeah.
We didn't want to overwhelm you with too much, and I was going to talk about this at the end of our episode on the Yuba County 5, but it was already quite a long episode, so I thought it was just better that we give you some bonus content.
Who doesn't like a little bonus episode?
A little bonus.
Freebie.
Yeah. And this is going to be in the theme of missing people, but it's also going to be another one of my loves. If you don't know, another love of mine, along with all the spooky and kooky things in life, is reality TV. And since 2009, I've been following along with Teen Mum from NTV. And back last year, there was a disappearance which was documented on the show, and obviously everyone followed along in real time as well. And I just think it's a bit suspect, so I'm gonna talk you guys through it. All of this episode is just gonna be purely my opinion and alleged, so do with it what you will, but I wanted to get your thoughts and I want to see what all of you think out there. So we're going to be talking about Amber Portwood from Teen Mum, and I'll just get into it. 16 and Pregnant first aired in 2009, and this was a docuseries showing the true life reality of teen parenthood. And in Series 1, Episode 2, we met Amber Portwood, who was the oldest participant in the show at age 18, from Anderson, Indiana. MTV chose 4 girls from 16 and Pregnant to participate in a spin-off show, Teen Mum, that is still running to this day, where their children they had on the show are now 16 themselves, so it really just needs to die.
That's
die
mad.
its death already.
Oh my god. It's still going, it's still the same ones.
No, they've added in some people have left, and now they call it Teen Mum The Next Chapter. And I think finally it might be wrapping up, because they had a 16 birthday party for the 16-year-olds all together. I actually don't watch Teen Mum The Next Chapter. I haven't watched up to that.
Yeah.
It fell off for me quite a while ago, but it's still got a lot of nostalgia for me. But yeah, so it's still running to this day. Teen Mum turned from a true life portrayal of teen motherhood to a reality show that kind of documented people's lives about them being on the show.
Right.
So Amber's story has always been turbulent, and I'll go into her past later, but first we're going to talk about the disappearance of Gary Wyat. Gary Wyat is 39 from Indianapolis, Indiana, and he started dating Amber Portwood, and along with the rest of Amber's life, their relationship was documented as part of the show. The couple headed to North Carolina to celebrate her older brother's wedding. Her older brother's called Sean, but she calls him Bubby, which, I don't know, I just find that weird. There's probably nothing in it, but I just find it a weird nickname to give your brother.
That is weird.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree. So they went to this wedding that was in the Bryson City area of North Carolina. On June 9th, 2024, Amber reported that her and Gary were spending some time together when they had an emotional conversation. After this, Gary left their apartment and headed out with just his keys and wallet, but left all his other belongings, including his phone, in the apartment with Amber. Amber reported Gary missing on the 10th of June when he did not return, and said she was concerned for his well-being. Amber went on a live stream with popular YouTuber LB, who comments on reality TV shows, and when Amber appeared on this live stream, she was very emotional, but it was kind of typical Amber behaviour of her being on a live stream. She goes live on TikTok a lot, she goes live on Instagram a lot, and she kind of flips between angry, happy, crying without tears. It's just very turbulent.
Also, if my partner's missing, I'm probably not going to just be going on live streams. Like, that's probably going to...
Oh no, she does that just all the time.
But it's probably going to consume me though, as in like, I've got no time for it. I am out looking for him, my friends and family are out there. Like, I'm just doing the most. I'm not like, okay, so I'm
just going to go live.
I do this all the time, so I'm just going to carry on as norm.
So, yeah, she joined the YouTuber LB to kind of get the word out about Gary's disappearance.
Right.
But it was more so about clearing her own name, other than saying about...
Why would you feel like you need to do that?
Yeah.
That's
but
weird.
You know when people appeal to the public or appeal to the person they're talking about in, like, I miss you so much, please come home, you know, if you see this, please reach out, I just want to know you're okay. She was like, the press are reporting that we had a heated argument or a heated discussion. There was nothing heated about it. It was emotional. We love each other. Me and this man, we don't have arguments. We don't put our hands on each other. No one asked. We're just concerned about this guy's return.
Yeah.
So it was very bizarre, but within it, her emotions changing all over the place. It just seemed just so bizarre. So bizarre. So yeah, Amber seemed more concerned about her image of what was being said in the media around this time, and not about Gary's actual safe return. So days later, the Bryson City Police Department report that he's not actually missing anymore, because from a restricted phone number, they received a call from Gary apparently saying, I'm missing by choice. And the police department asked him questions that only he would know, apparently.
How do they know what questions to ask and what the answers would be?
I'm assuming from his family, but then it's like, how do you know that no one else would know those answers?
And just because you are who you say you are, that doesn't mean that your circumstances are normal. Like, he could be forced to say that.
Yeah, and instead of being like, okay, wherever you are, go to the closest police department to you, and they can see that you're safe and well in person. They just took his word for it over the phone and closed the search, closed the missing persons case. Amber went back to Indiana and then was very silent. And like I said, she's always on live. So the fact that after he was allegedly found, we just didn't hear from her was very odd, because she's always on Instagram or TikTok arguing with people in her comment section. That's her day-to-day life. It's not looking after her 2 kids.
Damn.
It's arguing on TikTok with strangers. There are some other weird things about his disappearance, but I'm going to kind of flick back into Amber's past, because I think when you hear about her past, you see why people were so concerned that it could have been her, and why she was probably so getting out ahead of it in trying to clear her name, because she probably knew people are probably going to try and turn this on me.
Yep.
But there's a reason. So Amber's past has been difficult for fans to watch, and many think she should have been taken off the show Teen Mum. On series 1 of Teen Mum, fans watched horrified as she put her hands on baby daddy number 1, Gary Shirley, and they have a reunion episode at the end of each series where they all go in front of a live audience and watch clips of the show back.
Yeah.
When Amber was shown the footage of her putting her hands on Gary, she laughed. And when she was called out about it by the show's host, she was like, I'm more laughing about what an arse I look on TV. Which I get awkward laughter, but it's just, it seems so out. It's not just that she shoved him out of anger, like, you can find these clips anywhere. I'm not going to put them up, but you can find them quite easily. It is disturbing.
But there's like, like I looked so stupid there, then there's physically assaulting someone. That's a completely different realm.
Yeah, so she didn't have any remorse. She said the words that she was. She said all the right words, but you can tell that she does not feel remorse or take accountability for anything she does over the years.
Or change her behaviour.
Yeah, or change her behaviour. So her and Gary Shirley, they had a turbulent relationship, involved Child Protective Services, domestic battery charges, and Amber's issues with substances came out during this time, and it was all documented in the first 4 seasons of Teen Mum. So the police actually watched the footage of Teen Mum, and that's where the domestic battery charges came from. And ultimately, because I think she was put on probation for them, and then she had failed drug tests, or she was battling with substances, they made her go to rehab. But Amber basically turned around and was like, no rehab course is going to be good enough for me. I just need to go to prison.
What?
And that's the only thing that's going to keep me sober. And Amber loves to be the pick-me girl of, I have it worse than everyone else. I can't go to regular NA because I'm a television star. It's not so anonymous for me, because everyone knows my name. And Amber also likes to think of the show Teen Mum as her show.
Why have they... don't they have a duty of care, though? Like, this show?
Yeah, it's so shady.
Yeah, I don't understand how... And for their own... I mean, I know the reputation's not that... the show is what it is, but surely you don't want that person associated with your show.
So I think they see it as an unfiltered look at how the decision to be a teen parent can manifest in different scenarios, and how if you mess up you go and get help. So when Amber went to prison, she was sentenced to 5 years, but she actually only ended up serving 1 year and 6 months.
Right.
So she was straight back out of prison. Teen Mum actually went on a hiatus while she was in prison, which probably doesn't help her thinking that is her show, even though there are 4 other participants in it.
Why did they do that?
So she came out to MTV cameras documenting her coming out of prison, and they fought so hard for this woman to have a redemption arc. Probably to save their reputation, as well as pushing that message of you can get help, you can overcome issues.
Yeah.
She wrote a book called Never Too Late, how she documented how much of she had changed. On MTV, we all saw it play out, the same old story. And have you ever heard that TikTok sound that's like, I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending? Every time she gets a new relationship, that's all I can hear, because I just know what's coming. So fresh out of prison, she connected with another addict on Twitter.
Great.
Called Matt Bayer, and he's probably been the only boyfriend she's had that I can see that's kind of on her level, and their relationship was toxic.
Sounds terrifying.
He was way older than her as
Right.
well. He had reached out to other people from the cast who had just ignored him like you do any other fans, but Amber was like, slide in to my DMs and move from Boston to Indiana to be with me. They got engaged, they had a house together, things started to unravel. He took a lie detector test and it found out that he had been cheating on her, or he had made sexual advances towards someone. And from that they ended up on another reality TV show, which is you're meant to go on it to work on your relationship. I think they just went on it for money, because I think their relationship was already done and over. They did actually last, I think they were together 3 or 4 years. So I'm doing a speed run through this so it doesn't become a long thing. But they went on this show called Marriage Boot Camp. So her mum and him all set off. And
Her mum?
Yeah, it's family therapy. I don't know why she went. It's just a whole mess.
Oh, God.
The show Marriage Boot Camp, I can't find it anywhere in the UK. I've only seen clips, but it's so messy. It's so messy. I think it's available in the US. It's just one of those ones you can't stream in the UK, which is so frustrating, because honestly, it looks like such a good show. They had them sleeping in cribs surrounded by like staged pill bottles so they could see their issues of acting like toddlers. They had them sleep in a nursery. It was just so messy. But their relationship actually ends. Matt runs away from the show. But Matt actually said to Amber, it's going to take you killing someone for people to see who you really are.
That's quite a statement.
Even if your partner's toxic, I don't know, I don't think any of my past boyfriends have been as toxic as Amber Portwood, but I've never thought that my boyfriends were capable of killing someone.
No.
But then again, I've never been with an Amber Portwood, so I don't know.
That is a very big...
It's not just something you say.
That's not like a throwaway comment. Like,
that's my point. It's not just something you say to someone.
no.
But whilst on Marriage Boot Camp, considering that their relationship was playing out so toxically and Amber was fighting with every single person, I can't remember if she's a real housewife or a mob wife, but there was this lady called Brandy in there.
She's a real housewife.
Okay, you know who I'm on about.
Yes.
Her and Amber didn't get on, and she was like, you're fighting with everyone in here. You're fighting with your mum, you're fighting with Matt, and if you're not fighting with any of them, you're fighting with all of us. And it was true. But Amber famously likes to say, what are you talking about? To everyone who tries to call her out on what's actually happening. So she was just like that. But the whole show was just toxic from the Portwoods. But then Amber meets a new man.
Oh, God.
On Marriage Boot Camp.
No.
Not from one of the other couples.
Oh, okay.
A producer on the show, or a cameraman. I can't remember if he was a producer or a cameraman.
What redeeming factors did he see?
I don't get it.
What?
People say he wanted her fame and money, but
it's not
he
worth
already
it.
had fame and money. Well, he didn't have fame, but he had money. He came from a very well-off family in Malibu. He was a producer in TV, so if he wanted to be on front of the camera, I'm sure there was other ways of him to find his way there.
Pick a nicer person as well. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So apparently they connected in Marriage Boot Camp. And I will say, his name's Andrew Glennon. I will say Andrew has a very forgiving nature about him. He looks on the positive side of life. And he's really laid back. They're such a mismatch. Like, they just really are. He seems happy-go-lucky and doesn't sweat the small stuff. And she sweats literally the most minute things. Yeah, just everything. Anything can set her off. And unfortunately for Andrew, Amber was pregnant within a month or two of their relationship. So he had to move his whole life from Malibu to Indiana to be with her and their son. They end up having their son called James, and things already started to go downhill. Amber supposedly struggled from postpartum. She's got a whole list of mental health issues that she says she has. She has the money to get them fixed. And even her mum, in a recent episode, I saw a clip of her mum asking her, like, yeah, you would have thought they would have got your medication sorted out by now because you've been on so many and you've been through 10 different doctors. She went to an anger management rehab back in the day.
Why would you need to go through 10 different doctors? That in itself
shopping
is, yeah.
Buying diagnoses to excuse poor behaviour. And then when anyone brings up the fact that you don't need any other type of mental health help apart from anger management, she's like, I've already got that sorted when I went to prison. As if prison...
Instant anger as well.
Yeah, as if prison's the place to sort that out. But then it's like, you don't see it how anyone else sees it and you don't want to work on these problems. But
yeah.
Anyway, they had their child. It went downhill massively. And this is a bit that really worries me for Gary Wyat's fate, because on a night they were meant to go and watch fireworks, 4th of July, they were late leaving the house for some reason, probably Amber, and they couldn't get the spot that they wanted to watch fireworks because they were late, and it ended up in a huge row and Amber chasing Andrew with a machete whilst Andrew was holding their son. And there's actually audio that he recorded from when he was hiding in a closet and she's hacking the closet door with the machete.
How did she even get that in the first place if they're going to watch fireworks?
So they came back home.
Oh.
Because there's also doorbell footage, Ring doorbell footage that have been released where she's throwing his clothes out onto the porch. Because I think he dropped her off and was like, look, you calm down, I'm going to take our son for a drive whilst you calm down. Being the level-headed man he is.
Yeah.
And she's shouting into the Ring doorbell camera, you need to come and get all your stuff. I'm trying to be nice by letting you get it before it gets wet, before it gets stolen. Bring my son back to me. Obviously a lot more angrily than I'm saying it. But then when he returns, it all hell breaks loose and she ends up arrested and they end their relationship. But she gets off with probation. by chasing a
What?
man and their son with a machete.
And she has a history of it. What is probation gonna do?
Yeah.
I guess I just don't have space for her or something. Is that what it is?
I don't know if it's the network being behind her. Because
why is that the hill they're willing to die on?
Who knows? Who knows? But they're probably worried that she's going to chase them with a machete if they take away her money.
Yeah, probably. Or it could even be just to not embarrass the other guy since he was on production. Oh, no, it wasn't for that, though, was it? It was for the other show.
But yeah, Teen Mum did actually document the aftermath. They didn't, unfortunately, the cameras didn't capture the full extent of it, which I think is unfortunate. Not that there should have been, but I think then there's some sort of proof, because Amber was able to spin her own little web of lies of what happened that night before things started to get leaked.
Yeah.
Of like the audio recordings and the Ring doorbell footage, where she had all the Teen Mum castmates behind her in court, and her ex-baby daddy, Gary Shirley, was helping her out at this time, so much so that he was like, look, you need to go and get help. You've taken accountability, you've sorted it out, but please go and get help. I'll take you to anger management. I'll set one up. So he sets up an anger management session for her, and then when she gets there, she faints.
What?
I know.
The drama.
I just don't even think she fainted. But then she meets a new guy from Belgium called Dimitri. And Gary Shirley drives her to the airport to meet him.
Damn.
And she makes him take a lie detector.
For what?
To make sure he's not using her for her money or fame. But no one else on the show.
He's not using her when he's driving her to the airport, defending her in court. But yeah.
Oh no, this is Dimitri. She makes to take the lie detector. I'm sure Gary Shirley has had to take one. At some point. But yeah, she makes him take a lie detector to make sure he's not using her for money or fame. But none of the other cast make their new boyfriends take a lie detector.
Well, no normal person does that because
it's so fucked up. It's so bizarre.
That's not normal behaviour.
Such a red flag. But after 3 months, he returns to Belgium. They try and go long distance, but then COVID-19 hits.
Lucky escape for him.
Yeah, and I know that Amber has had other flings. I know that she's had other relationships, but those are kind of the main ones I want to talk about that I think paint the best picture. But then we go into the Gary Wyat relationship. And again, very quickly they get engaged, they go off to this wedding, he disappears, he calls in and says, I'm fine. So the story is that they want us to believe. They go from Indiana, which is up the top of America, down to North Carolina, which is at this side. He drives without his phone, cross country, instead of going, while she's in North Carolina for the wedding still, instead of going back to their home in Indiana and getting his stuff and getting the hell out of there and back to Indianapolis, where his family, job and everything else will be full support, he decides, no, I'm going to drive cross country to Oklahoma. And I think now he's been seen in other states. And then Amber told police, oh, he's been spotted at a Walgreens.
What was
and
that?
police were like, I think just a grocery store.
Oh.
And police were like, oh yeah.
Oh, no worries then.
And then obviously the call comes in. After the call comes in, people online were still like, we don't believe this at all.
No.
Because Bubby Sean, I think he's also a prison officer, something to do with the law enforcement system.
Right.
He's probably all up in there because he will defend her. And I'm pretty sure he said to that Belgian guy, Dimitri, I hope you don't have to find out the Portwood way. Or something. Yeah.
What?
And when they were younger, they used to choke each other out to go to sleep. She wrote that in her second
Just
book.
Sprinkle that in.
Yeah.
What the hell?
She wrote that so full chest in her second book, So You're Crazy Too. And it basically went back on everything she said in Never Too Late, the first book, because she was like, yeah, I was still using. It said about the Andrew relationship, like just, it was a whole train wreck of a book. I'll leave it at that. I don't even want to open those can of worms, to be honest. But yeah, it's just all really messed up. So I think her and her brother are very ride and die for each other. So I know he would happily do anything for her, as well as cover for her if she took something too far. So anyway, this was back obviously in June 2024.
Right.
We're now in June 2025. There's been a sighting of him, a Tinder profile.
Okay, anyone could do that.
Which, if I was living in that area, I would want to get a date with him. Because then I would be running to the tabloids like, oh, I just had a date with Gary Wyat.
And
no one's done that.
But if you think about it as well, that doesn't make any sense. So you left everything. You have nothing. No, like, none of your belongings. You've not got your job. You've not got your family. But you're on Tinder.
Looking for casual fun.
That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
If something so traumatic happened where you can't even go back for your things, you have driven cross country and now you're wanting to be in another relationship with nothing.
And he left his phone there, so who's to say Amber, who I'm sure she has all the passwords, if she's going to make someone take a lie detector
Yeah,
test,
she's definitely got it.
She's got the passwords to everything, so she could definitely just make a Tinder profile to be like, yeah, I'm in this city,
definitely,
because the Tinder profile said I'm looking for casual fun. And then a couple of months after the Tinder profile came out, there was a picture shared that someone had taken out in public. Even if I had seen him out in public after this, I would have snapped a picture and been like, oh my god, look, he's come all the way to Oklahoma to get away from Amber. Like, people would do that. Teen Mum fans would do that. No one's done a proper picture. It's only been the back of his head while he was proposing to someone in public. And the back of the head doesn't even look like his head shape. But it's like, surely from an engagement out in public, there would have been a better picture you could have used.
Go around the other side.
It doesn't make any sense. So people who do still talk about Gary Wyat's disappearance online and been like, we still think he's missing. People are like, just stop talking about it. Like, it's so weird that you're still talking about it because he's obviously been found. Like, he's not a missing person anymore.
Based on what? None of that is concrete.
I just don't think it's true. And then there have been rumours that his family actually have hired a private investigator to look into it further. Because I don't even think they've had contact with him.
That's bizarre. Was he close with his family? Do you know?
Yeah, because that's what the emotional discussion was about.
Oh,
so the emotional discussion, I think he's Vietnamese, and Amber was like, because of who I am with Teen Mum and how they've portrayed me on the show, they don't really like me. And it's like, I just don't think they like you.
I think it's a you problem.
It's got nothing to do with them being Vietnamese. It's got nothing to do with the show, which has portrayed you the way you are. Because I always think on reality show, it's like, oh, well, you believe everything you see, but you don't know how heavily produced it is. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but you still must have said the things that you've said, even if they've chopped it to make it look a different way. You still said really heavily problematic things. You've still done really heavily problematic things.
You've been in prison.
And if you haven't, if it's that scripted, why are you letting them portray you as that sort of character? Walk away.
Well, you've got a criminal past.
Exactly.
So you have done these things.
Yeah, it's solely a you problem, and I don't think Gary Wyat watched the show. They met on Tinder, so I just think it's really unfortunate of these people who meet her, because she does have a tendency to love bomb people and act a different way in the start of a relationship until she can't hide it anymore. And it all comes out. Yeah. So I think it's really unfortunate. If nothing nefarious happened, like I said, this is all alleged and all my opinion, but my opinion is that he is still in North Carolina, no longer with us.
Well, by now, someone would be able to verify. How's he not got a job? Or, like, how is he not...
Do you think tabloids wouldn't pay a lot of money for that?
Yeah, he would have, like, surely he would have said something as well, on his own accord.
So people speculate that he might have signed an NDA.
Yeah, but he can still have his own presence
on social media.
Yeah, that's unrelated. Okay,
or people can snap pictures of him out in public, which he has supposedly been out in public.
I just think, it's more likely that he would have posted things of his own accord, even if it doesn't have to relate to her. That doesn't stop him from living his life.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. that no one has heard from him.
Even if nothing nefarious happened, which obviously I think it did, I think, honestly, they had that conversation that was a heated argument and she took it too far and did something that she couldn't come back from, because, as we've seen in the past, that would make total sense for her to do. It's not out of the realm of possibility. This isn't someone that just woke up one day and snapped. This is who she has been consistently.
Yeah.
And we've all watched it, so we all know it as well. So anyway, even if that didn't happen, what did happen? If it was just an emotional discussion, why did he need to flee to Oklahoma and not surface?
Well, that is the question, isn't it?
But look for casual fun on Tinder. What sense does that make? And then, because they met on Tinder, we know he already had a Tinder profile that someone who had his phone and passwords would just need to log back into, change their location.
Yeah.
And bish bash bosh, you're in Oklahoma looking for some casual fun.
It doesn't make any sense.
But because he's no longer a missing person, there's obviously no investigation actually happening. And Amber's broken her silence, because obviously when it first came out that he was found, she did have that silence that she just was nowhere to be found online, which, again, really strange for her.
Yeah.
She's back on live now, singing to Celine Dion, thinking she's such a great singer. And I want to get a clip up of it, because it's, after talking about all this, it's funny as fuck. Because she's not.
How funny.
But
I wonder if she would comment on this.
I would hope so. I would love to have her on as a guest.
Oh my god.
I would love to speak to her and hold her accountable.
I mean, I guess she covers the kooky side.
I think
and
she
her behaviour
is
is that
spooky.
time spooky.
Read her book, So You're Crazy Too, and you'll see the spookiness. Because that thing is just, it's a lot.
Oh god.
It's a lot. But actually don't, because I don't want you giving money to her.
Yeah, that's true. It's just going in her pocket.
Yeah, but I think she has actually... She says she quit, but I think she got fired from Teen Mum finally.
Surely.
After all this time, because of how bad of a mother she has been. I mean, she called her daughter a dick on her 15th birthday at her birthday meal when she was late and wanted to only talk about herself and her boyfriend.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think she's finally been let go of the show, and she's been rumoured that she might start an OnlyFans now. I'm not going to pay for it. Not that I'd pay for anyone's OnlyFans, but...
I don't really feel like you needed to say that. I think that was a given.
But yeah, that's the... I hope everyone's enjoyed this bonus episode. I know it's a really niche topic. I feel like a lot of people are either watched it back in the day and fell off really early.
Yeah.
Or there are a lot of people that still follow the drama to this day. So I hope it finds an audience that would appreciate this video. Because like I said, it's just one of my little guilty pleasures. And I love listening to the TikTok tea. I love listening to the Reddit tea or reading the Reddit tea, and I love following along with the drama, but this crossed over from drama to just downright dangerous.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about it.
You'll have to let us know if there are any more updates.
Yeah. Hope you've enjoyed this little bonus episode wherever anyone's come across it. I'm sorry if I rambled for far too long. I just got really excited to finally talk about some Teen Mum stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it, so that was enlightening. And I don't understand how it's not a thing. But yeah.
And we'll be back next week with another missing persons case, not Teen Mum related.
Yes.
Stay spooky and stay kooky.
See you later.
See you later.
Spooky and kooky, mystery and wonder. Feel the magic under. Spooky and kooky.